Okay, so I have a question. Do you know what the difference between law and the Constitution is? Because it's something I think not a lot of Americans think about, but we should. When I'm teaching, I teach a lot of college classes on American government. The common theme that I found that exists between or amongst all my students is this. A lot of my students think that they can violate the Constitution or that the Constitution governs all of us. I see it in so many different answers, which are hopefully being changed as I'm teaching them, that the Constitution is the law that we all must follow or something like that. I really want to burst that bubble because it's not true. The Constitution exists solely and exclusively to govern our government, okay? And the government exists solely and exclusively to govern us. So let me give a little context. So based on liberal philosophers like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, so on and so forth, we have created the government that we currently have to do one thing for us, and that is to protect us and our private property from each other. That's it. We needed government because in a state of nature, as Locke and Hobbes would say, which is basically a state of no government, no society, sort of free-for-all. Everyone has a right to any and everything. It's very chaotic and a state of war. It's a problem. We don't want to stay in this state of war. And so we need to create something outside of ourselves to protect us and our private property from each other, to get out of this state of chaos. So we create government. The problem is we take the same people that we needed protection from in the first place, and what do we do with them? We give them power. We actually put them in positions of power that allow them to write laws that we're then going to be subject to follow. And so the next question is, well, what protects us and our private property from that government itself, right? That's critical because now we're following laws that they can make, and they can make any law. The next law that they make could be, hey, I'm going to cut your head off. Right? And so this is a really important question. So the founders tried to solve this problem by creating a document called the Constitution, which basically limits or confines the power of government itself. It says, hey, government, this is your job description telling you exactly what you cannot and can do. Basically, hey, government, we're giving you the power to make law that protects us and our private property from each other, but you can only make these specific laws. That's it. These laws. So we've got the Constitution, which is the law outside of government, governing our government. It's basically the law for government. All right? I really want you to get this. And then we have government writing laws that we must follow. Okay? So these laws, though, that government writes, they're limited. They can only write certain laws within a very small realm of power based on what the Constitution itself says. So the Constitution is the law to government, while the law is the law to us. I hope this is setting in because this is really important. So let me put it in a different context. So let's say I burned down a church building. Well, what have I done? Well, I've broken a law. I've committed arson, right? That's a problem. The law that the government wrote, I have now violated. Okay. We needed that law to protect that property from me. However, what if the government burns that church down? What has the government violated? The government has violated the Constitution because that's the law for government. So if you ever hear someone say things like, you've violated my constitutional rights, or I've done something unconstitutional, a private individual, a private company, a private person cannot violate the Constitution. The only entity that can violate the Constitution is the government itself. That's it. We can break law all day long as citizens, of course, but the only group of people that can violate your constitutional right is government, because the Constitution applies exclusively and only to government. It protects us from the government. So in First Amendment terms, I can say all kinds of mean, cruel, horrible things, and you're going to have to suck it up because I have the right to do that, right? You cannot come, you can come in and tell me to shut up, but you telling me to shut up has not violated my First Amendment rights. Now, if government comes in and tells me to shut up, guess what? The Constitution has just been violated by the government because the Constitution only applies to government. So we have law, which applies to the people, and we have the Constitution, which applies to the government. That's the critical and most important difference between the two.